Hello, my name is Debo Adejano, real estate entrepreneur, MDCO Realty Point Limited. They call us the Sack Your Landlord people. And this is Real Estate Business with Debo Adejano. You're welcome. In today's episode, I'll be talking about cooperative housing. Cooperative housing is one thing that I don't think we have fully explored in Nigeria. We'll be talking about the opportunities that are inherent in the cooperative system in making housing, very possible for all the strata of the socio-economic class. I'll be right back. Welcome back. Now, talking about cooperative housing, Kenya seems to be leading the pack in Africa. Cooperatives, if I may say, is actually how you can say that is the genesis of the lending platform and systems that we have that has evolved over time to the sophisticated financial machineries that we have that dishes out loans and credit facilities to people. All of these ideas started way back along the line of cooperatives, And especially, they were geared at meeting housing needs. So, when you go to some developed clime, you would hear things like housing societies. Those were evolutions of cooperatives at the time. And you'd actually see cooperative housing in a number of the developed world. In Kenya, for example, for you to know the importance and the strength that this can command, in Kenya, as of 2017, it is said that 90% of the housing stock supplied was coming from the cooperative housing model that Kenya operates. And as far back as 2017 also, the asset base of the total Kenyan cooperative housing system, if you put it in Naira value, was like about 3 trillion Naira. 3 trillion Naira. They were said to have up to about 23,000 housing cooperatives. 23,000 housing cooperatives. Not too long ago, I think it was also in the same Kenya, news broke about a cooperative of women. Women that can be classified as low or low income earners, traders, petty traders for that matter, really. They came together to form a cooperative, and their idea was to use housing as their investment model. And they pooled resources together. Over 25,000 of them are in this single cooperative. And they pooled resources together to build, I think, a number of apartments, maybe 16 apartments or so, flat apartments. The essence is they are now going to be renting out those flats, and the proceeds they are going to be sharing and enjoying and also using for their own other purposes. That is the power that lies in being able to pool resources together to achieve anything. And it's been long used for housing provision. How is that so? Not too long ago at the Abuja International Housing Show, the 13th edition, we had a session on cooperative housing. And I was opportune to have a renowned cooperator, I must say, someone that in Nigeria has been in the forefront of cooperative housing and has used the model of cooperatives in his private life and also in his professional life, and is now retired, and that is the business he does. And that's Brigadier General Rees, retired. He shared with us how he conceptualized what is known now as the Bagdori Cooperative Housing Estate. How he conceptualized it, and how they were just about 6 or so, or 25 or thereabout of them that wanted to pull resources together to do that. And now that significantly grew in a very short time to over 1,000 housing units in that estate. You can imagine that was 1990 something. I mean, from what he was sharing with us, 1993 or 1994. You can imagine what the asset class, the base, what if we quantify that right now. And they went from buying the land to people building their properties and all of those things now. And he used that model in the army. When he was in the army for post-service housing scheme. They got a mortgage license, started the army's license, mortgage savings and loans company and all of that. And he's used this model over and again to a great success. Now, how does this work? It's simple. It's just a cooperative that its sole aim is provision of housing for its members. Okay? So people come together, they define the structure they are going to run. If it is that they want to buy land and then people will build individually or people will build collectively, they will decide, or they buy land, build to type, whatever each person has subscribed to, depending on their contribution and all. What this does is that it helps you to aggregate funds and also gives you negotiating power. So you can negotiate to get reduced material prices, for example. You can negotiate to attract loan and credit that you would not have ordinarily attracted on your own, singularly chasing such, okay? Because you now have numbers, okay, economy of scale. Providers of these services and these things, resources, would want to deal with you. You also have the power, okay, to be able to engage professionals and pay them adequately well. And they will be satisfied working with you and be able to give you all the expertise that you require in achieving what it is that is your aim as a cooperative. Certain things have been the issue. So I tell people, hey, look out there. A young man also working for the Mulat Fulham Housing Corporation in Abuja shared, John, who is the marketing executive, shared as to how he's using the cooperative housing model to now acquire customers that would be interested in what it is that they provide in their organization. So if you are interested in exploring cooperative housing option, all you need to do, go online and search for such cooperatives in your locality, if they exist. If they don't, you can reach us to let us know that you are interested in joining a cooperative. Let us know where you are based, and we will try and see if there is any or give you some direction. But if you are in Lagos, guess what? You can explore. I've been involved in cooperative setup for over 10 years now. Okay? We have a housing cooperative. We also have a real estate cooperative, which is focused on investing in real estate. And of course, part of the aim is to ensure that members also become house owners along the way. Okay, so in a way, it is a quasi housing cooperative. It's not just about house ownership. For us, we're going beyond that to say real estate investment. In cooperatives, for it to succeed, a few things are very important. Trust must be in place. And trust is not necessarily just bestowed on someone. You earn it. So transparency is how you earn trust. So cooperative is structured such that it should organize, it should be transparent, and it is democratic. Cooperative structure is democratic. Cooperatives are subject to reviews. They are subject to supervision from the state authorities, from the federal authorities. They have bylaws that are guiding them. Well laid out. And they are monitored year on year, okay, as to their performance. So it is something that is well structured if well run. If the people running it are transparent, the people running it are trustworthy, if they have their integrity in place, there is no way a cooperative should not succeed. And if they are ready to engage experts, professionals, where they lack such knowledge, to assist them in delivering what it is that is their aim, okay, for their members, benefit for their members, then there won't be any problem. Because the fact that people are in housing cooperative does not necessarily mean that they know about housing. But they can engage people who know about it to work with them in getting these things done. A successful cooperative must have systems, must be well organized. When they have meetings, how much people should contribute and all of that. And they must be accountable. Keep records. Accountability is very key. And they must have good record keeping track. Okay? They must be able to keep records electronically and otherwise. Because when people make contributions, they want to know what is happening to their money, and you should be able to let them know. All that is involved is for people to come together with the same aim, whether it is low-income housing, middle-income housing, or high-income housing, whatever the goal is. Once you find people of common minds come together and they can form this. I mean, I took a trip with the German foundation, a German NGO in the country, sponsored some of us on a trip to observe what housing cooperative has been able to achieve in the city of Munich. Okay, now, you will be shocked that it's a very expensive city ordinarily, okay? Munich is very expensive ordinarily. But what we realized was that everybody in the social economic strata could live in the same place, from the people that are in the lower rung of the ladder to the people that are classified as high net worth people. They could live in the same building, in the same place, because of the cooperative model that city, okay, operates. And that is fantastic. So they come together to say, this is what we want to build. Everybody subscribes to what it is that they can afford, and things go on like that. Now, in some of their models, like it exists in other parts of the world, it may not be about ownership. Cooperative also has a way of providing almost like guaranteed accommodation, but not necessarily with the ownership mentality that goes with the 100% ownership. No. Okay, so in some of their models, for example, people pay what you can call rent, but they are already a member of the cooperative. They already are part of the structure, and they pay what you can call rent for their lifetime. And when they die, okay, they can pass on their accommodation to their heir. They can have somebody inherit their accommodation, and that person continues to also pay whatever it is that is called rent. Now, what that was able to achieve for them was, in a city where, for example, maybe rent for an apartment, market rent would have been, say, something about, say, just for the purpose of explanation, 1 million naira, okay? With the cooperative, as a member of the cooperative, what you get to pay for that same accommodation may just be 50,000 naira. So you can imagine that. So it would enable you to be able to afford it because you are already a member of the cooperative. That's one model they operated a lot there. Of course, there are other models also that they operated, similar to 100% ownership and all of those things. Any cooperative, you can form it in any way. I mean, to form a cooperative is simple. If you want to know more about forming a cooperative and all, hit us up in a comment, let us know, and we'll then pass on the information to you. Wherever the state you are, you can look out for it. They have a ministry of cooperative. It could be Ministry of Trade, Agriculture and Cooperative or something. They have a ministry that cooperatives are under. If you check and you make inquiries, they will give you the operational guidelines as to how to operate or how to open a cooperative. Okay? And then you specify the purpose, in this case, housing. And they will give you all that you require. You usually would need to source for a number of people. In some states, they will say 10. Once you get 10, in some states, they will say once you are up to 14, thereabout, they will come and inaugurate. You do your bylaws and all, and they will come and inaugurate you. And you start running. You elect your executives, management, because cooperative is run by people. By the people in it. It's a democratically structured organization. People that are in it will elect the people that will be their managers. They will call them management committee members. Then, depending on what your purpose is, you have other committees: investment, housing, consumer goods, all of those things. You have other committees and all. It's a very good model that we've used a lot in this part of the world for our thrifts, for credit and all, but that we can use even much more for housing. And if housing is a major need, we need to be thinking about how to solve that need. I hope that I've been able to, maybe create interest in you to look out for how you can, okay, be a part of cooperative housing movement. If you are interested, hit us up and let us know. We'll be glad to work with you. Now, if you like this video, you enjoy what it is that you've listened to, it has benefited you in any way, please share it with someone. Let someone know that such a link, such a video channel exists on YouTube and they can be a part of it. And I hope that you have subscribed. Please, if you have not, click the subscription button. It's just down below. Yes, click the subscription button and click the notification bell. What that does is that whenever we have a video, you will be one of the first to know. If you like the video, please click the like button. Let people know that you like it. Yes, click it. I would really, really appreciate it. The team would really appreciate it. It's kind of telling us that, yes, our efforts, they are worth it, and we can continue to exert energy in this same direction, people, because people like you are benefiting from it. Okay? Now, till I come your way again to discuss another interesting topic in the real estate world, I remain yours sincerely, Debo Adejano, saying, keep on sacking your landlord. Thank you.